You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Welcome. Oilersnation Radio, we're back in the old studio. Why? Because we don't have keys to the other one.
Which is crazy that we're still here.
You would think that after, how long have we been in this building now, Dan?
Officially, we've been in here since the summer of 2021. But the building has been open since 2020.
So about 2.5 years now, full-time in the office, and we do not have keys for the Studio B.
This is my favorite part. So I'm obviously the part-time guy in and out a couple times a week. You guys are here 30 whatever hours a week, whatever it is.
70,
obviously.
100.
Yeah.
I never leave. I live here.
I don't know who's filling out your paychecks, but make sure you let them know. That room, that one studio, this has happened before. It's probably been a little over a year or something like that.
What's the solve though, Rick?
Well, that's just it. So there was an issue. Couldn't get in. Got us in, whatever. And then the team were like, you know what we'll do? We'll put some tape over here. This way, this will never happen ever again.
The team? Do you mean Tyler?
Yeah. Don't say the team.
The whole, somebody could have stepped up and said, hey, no, we should do this, that, or the other thing. But I felt to me, there was like a meeting, sat down and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. So there's a piece of tape over so to make sure the door doesn't lock anymore.
Very important to the detail is that it's green painter's tape, the strongest of all tapes.
Yeah. So I mean, I looked today, door is locked. Green tape's still there.
Yeah.
Somehow though, not working.
Well, if we were doing DoorDash Who Delivered segment, the green tape would not be my pick.
No, it might be Cold Performer.
Yeah,
well,
when we had that meeting actually about putting the green tape on, we did brainstorm if we should get keys, but we thought, why would we pay for new keys
when we have green tape?
Have this green tape in the office, we can just tape to the door.
I feel bad doing this while Tyler isn't here, but
I don't.
Never.
When we came up with that idea, the part that he missed in that is that you have to tape down. No, you have to like tape down
the lock,
the deadbolt,
Yeah.
The little nub.
Or else what happens is, and what he did is he placed the tape nicely and gently over top of the little dongle gobbler that goes in.
Don't want to hurt it.
And so it essentially all it does is it just marks that door knob for us as to where the actual knob part is.
Because we would have tried to maybe credit card it. You know what I mean?
But that's all
We
it does.
cannot.
It just shows us where the lock is.
Anyway, we are in the other studio, the live show studio, because we cannot get in that door.
It's a good studio though.
But
pay the bills.
the good
Also,
news is
37 people work here, and no one knows who has a key for the record.
my first thought was I'm going to blame Jay. Jay's got to have a key. And they go, no, Jay doesn't have a key. I'm like, well, if he doesn't have a key, who does have a key?
Yeah, if he doesn't have one, no one underneath him can be expected to have one. I
would be next in line and I don't got one. I can't be trusted with these keys.
You got the new bosses coming in next week. You better get on this.
Fuck.
It's funny though. No one wanted to admit who shut the door. Like we actually don't know who shut the door.
I didn't do it this time.
I feel like Waz admitted
Waz said Waz said he may have been the one.
Waz said, I think it might have been me.
Yeah.
Just said that when I was out of the room. Wisely.
Well, the investigation continues.
It could be anyone. That's today's delicious debate. Who locked the door?
For our friends at Wendy's, it is time to talk about the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. I got kicked out this week already, boys. I am out. So I have to wait for Monday for a fresh round to kick off. Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those of you who smoke the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that will have you winning despite your lack of team building skills. Or social skills in my case. Download the Wendy's app and score yourself 150 bonus reward points on your first order and grab a sweet victory from the mouth-watering jaws of defeat, along with some fresh, never frozen beef. Put your prediction skills to the test and score yourself 1,300 bonus points if you win the week. Use your points to grab your favorite menu items only at Wendy's. Sign up for the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool at Wendy's. Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool is the website link. It is right there on the menu bar at Daily Face-Off as well, if you don't remember.
I tried to read that ad read today on ON Every Day, so I'm very impressed.
It is like, so
there's a lot of Wendy's there.
He had a tough go on Tuesday though.
Tuesday was in.
Like on Tuesday, I made a note. Like I was just like, boys, we got to rewrite this copy when I was trying to do it. And I noticed we did not rewrite the copy.
Maybe that's why I can read it.
Probably the same person as the key was supposed to do it.
I feel like whoever has the key to that room is trying to bamboozle us in the ad reads.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, for our friends at Wendy's, what do you got for a delicious debate today?
Today's delicious debate. Thoughts on Knoblauch's first 2 games as the Edmonton Oilers head coach? Knoblauch, Nobby, Coach Garlic, Coach K,
Garlic,
Knobster.
Where are you at, Dan? What's the nickname?
Garlic for sure.
Love garlic.
Garlic guy. I love the Germans getting excited about that one.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to admit, I was a little sassy at the end of the second period when I saw McDavid and Draisaitl come out.
Me too.
Again, we just had a guy get fired for that.
I wouldn't say sassy. I was of the mind, like I was making jokes because it's funny, right?
I posted the joke that we should start the fire Knoblauch chant because I think a coaching change could fix these things again. And Rick, I was joking. I promise. It was a meme and it was just to have a laugh. But I was pleasantly excited to see the results. I honestly, going into those last 2 minutes, even down a goal, I wasn't really expecting it to happen. So when it did happen, it was like a pleasant surprise.
We're going to definitely do a full breakdown on that game because there was a lot to talk about, especially in the back half of the game. I was like, Dan, I was making jokes when I saw them together. But then on After Dark, what I said to Aaron was like, could you imagine you come into Edmonton as the new coach of the Edmonton Oilers and you look down the bench and you have the option of putting Connor and Leon together? You're telling me you're not going to touch that button?
You got to press it.
You got to push the button. So I do not blame him for doing it. Every coach has done it because it's fun. So the thoughts on the first two games of the Knoblauch era is that I don't think the Oilers played perfect games. I think that they managed to win both. I think that's going to help build some confidence in all of them moving forward. Now, would it be fair to say that wouldn't happen under Woodcroft? I don't think that's true, but I'm not going to dwell on the past. We're here to talk about Nobby, and I think that through 2 games, he's got the results to be, at least somewhat happy with, satisfied with, and we'll see how it goes going forward. Rick?
This has very little to do with coaching.
Of course.
I honestly think this coaching staff, last coaching staff, same thing, interchangeable, not a big deal. This team had an issue on the ice, and I know a lot of people want to point fingers at here, there, and everywhere. If you have skates on, you are the ones who are going to be the ones to fix this, and it has nothing to do with the firing on Sunday or Monday, whenever it hell happened, and has nothing to do with the start of the new regime on Monday. It started on Saturday in Seattle. The team started to play a little bit better. The bad bounces, the PDO, whatever, started to twist, come back to where it's supposed to be.
Regress to the mean.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So this is not a shot at him or anything like that, but it has very little to do with coaching. And I'm sorry if you thought it was a coaching thing, you were wrong. But this had very little to do with coaching. The team on the ice had to figure out their issues. They are slowly starting to figure it out. They're getting some of their confidence back. They're not fully there. We've seen that. But they're figuring out how to play better in their own end. Some of those pucks are not going in the net right away, which they were in the first 9, 8, 10 games. And this is pretty much what I expected to see out of the team at the beginning of the season. I'm no longer worried. I was getting frustrated at the worst point, but I said, I'm not hopping off this bandwagon or anything like that. This team is starting to play a little bit better. You're starting to see the secondary guys step up. You've seen the Hyman hat trick. You've seen the Kane hat trick. Connor and Leon are right behind. They will start putting the puck in the net. I know Leon had a 4-point game there the other night. Yeah, It's all coming together. Bush had 3 points. Nurse was doing great things there last game, although a lot of people won't give him credit for it.
Diving save. That exactly. Comeback is not possible without Nurse diving save.
That's effort.
Yep.
That's effort. You start having that kind of effort, and when you're one-on-one battles, this team's going to be very difficult to beat. They're starting to get there. We're going to be we'll be just fine.
I was going to save this for the recap, and I'll probably just say a different version of the same story. But if Woodcroft had a run of games from Stu above 914, a 3-game run, he's probably still on the bench. What's Dan laughing at?
I don't know what this is.
It was Liam putting up his Dobby.
I just
Knoblauch
can't see it, BM. Maybe I'll put it on the StreamYard.
Liam being a rascal?
It came up on the screen, and then I just looked over at Liam, and he's looking right at me with this big smirk on his face.
So yeah, Nobby's starting to take some traction here, and people are now making Dobby from Harry Potter photoshops. I had no idea who that was. I've never seen Harry Potter.
I don't know what this is.
There you go.
It's Harry Potter.
That's Harry Potter.
It's the sock stealing elf.
He's a free elf.
There you
Nobby
go.
the free elf.
Yeah,
He dies. Spoiler.
He can't be free until
He dies?
He does something.
No,
for somebody
he doesn't
else
die.
or something.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Rick.
Yes.
You think the Oilers' performances had nothing to do with the coaching?
What do you mean? Right now? Like the last two games?
No. Before these two, when Woodcroft and Manson were here, there was nothing in there that you thought, maybe that was a bit of coaching.
Well, I just want to go back to what I was saying then. Like, you get a 3-game run from Stuart Skinner above 914 2 weeks ago.
Woody's still here.
Woody's still here.
Yes.
4-point night from Leon, followed up by another multi-point night goals in back-to-back games from Connor. Chances are Woody's still here.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that.
The coaching staff wasn't telling him to make a mistake there, followed by mistake here, followed by mistake here, followed by letting the puck in the net. Mm-hmm. That started to get between their ears. But yeah, you could have, Knoblauch could have been here at the beginning, or you could still be running Woodcroft right now. And this team was going to progress as long as the guys with the skates on went out there and won their battles.
I do think that Woodcroft obviously got the shit end of the stick.
Totally.
100%.
But there's a couple of things in there too, which I think indicate that maybe there was some coaching problems that we didn't want to fully admit, in the sense of Woodcroft would just blend his lines for the fun of it half the time. And now we've seen 2 games where there's pretty good continuity, minus the one period where it clearly went to crap, which is kind of evidence to prove that that decision didn't work to change it all the time like Woodcroft did. And there's also other things too, like Bouchard has struggled massively in the defensive zone this season. He's not been perfect these last 2 games by any means. And there's only so much a coach can do in such a little time, but he feels like such a different player in the offensive zone after only 2 games under Coffey that I wonder if Manson wasn't doing enough to get the best out of his players in some aspects of things. You know,
funny thing, 100%. But if you look at both those because both those defense coaches were both previous players. Go back and look what type of games they played. Yeah. They were polar opposite.
Well, that's what
the team was actually playing more toward the Dave Manson style, which was going to be not Bouchard's
strengths. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that does, but we saw last year with Woodcroft and Manson that they figured their shit out.
Yeah.
So yes, this is a helpful little boost out of the hole they dug themselves. But at the end of the day,
shook them up.
They had to do it on themselves. And that coaching thing, within 1 game, you as a coach, you really can't do anything. No. Within 2 games, as a coach, a new coach, you really can't do anything.
There's parts in there though.
They don't have a lot of practice time.
No. Well, what did they have? They would have had 2 practices with Knoblauch before Wednesday. No, because he was hired Sunday. Yeah. So they had one
practice.
Mornings.
I mean,
what are you going to do in one practice?
So
game day, they asked Hyman, what do you think about it? He's like, I just met him.
We're not seeing those mistakes in 2 games. Like, I know Skinner has made some huge saves, but I feel like we're not seeing the ones where Bouchard fumbles the puck in front of the net.
Well, you were at the game the other day.
But Dave Manson wasn't telling him to do it.
I think that was a penalty.
Dave
Manson wasn't telling him to do it.
The Yamamoto thing?
It kind of looked like he hooked him a little bit. No?
But here's the way I looked at it.
It was bad.
It was not great.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm looking at is Bouch looks back, sees it's Yamo. You know how he plays. You know what he's going to do. He's one of your buddies. You went and picked your pocket. There was a couple of problems. So I think that the other day's game was both sides of the sword for Evan Bouchard. Offensive side of the puck, man, the poise on his stick, the play in OT when they were just whipping it around, and then eventually Kane had the hat trick winner.
The 3-2 goal.
Ridiculous. The 3-2 goal, the play he made there was fantastic. My only gripe with Evan Bouchard is I wish he had the same urgency in the defensive zone as he does on the offensive side.
But he's not going to be a 50-50 player. He's going to be a 70-30 player. So we have to understand that.
But I just wish there are plays where I go, man, just a little more effort from you. You clear that puck.
Yeah. And he's very nonchalant. I think that does need to come out of his game.
But I'm with Rick. He's never going to be a Norris shutdown defenseman. He could be a Norris potentially offensive. Let's get all the points defenseman. But I just wish crank up the urgency a little bit. 2 of those goals against.
And I was saying on Tuesday, I think a guy who played very much like him as a coach with 5 rings It's going to be hey guy, like calm down. Don't worry. This is what we do. Let's play to your strengths. Like you play to your strengths, get that stuff out of your head because like I said, I think this team had issues in their brains at that point. They were second guessing themselves. They had no confidence. Yeah. Their biggest issue was inside their heads. And it was every single damn player on the team at the same time.
So that's where I think like, I don't think,
but it was up to them to start winning to clear it.
So
and
I don't think it was
Woodcroft, Knoblauch, you, me, him, doesn't matter.
That's why I think like firing Woody is like a jarring jolt that kind of went, whoa, like kind of getting out of the noise between their head. They're like, oh, we have to go play now because the coach got fired. There's nothing else nowhere to go from here.
Yeah. And they, as much as people want, Holland to go or whatever, a new GM can't do shit here. Your hands are tied.
Because of Holland.
Yeah, well, because of the cap situation. Yes, he was the one directing the boat and everything. My favorite quote, but he put together a nucleus, the nucleus of this team last season, and it's supposed to get us through at least 3 seasons, and it was letting him down.
My favorite quote from the Holland presser was when he got, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it, is when he got asked about Woodcroft and accountability. He goes, well, he had a hard time with accountability. He didn't have a whole lot of players on the roster. It's like, yeah, but that's not his fault. No, that's your fault. Anyway.
But I mean, what were you going to do? You're going to turn Brown into 2 players?
Yes.
That's what the only thing you can do.
No.
We cut him in half and then we each take half. Go ahead, Liam.
I don't know what else you could have done, but there's just things that like you go into the season with your bottom 6 and take away the names. You have a rookie who is unproven, granted first round pick in Holloway.
Okay.
You have Ryan McLeod, who has not really been a consistent scorer in the league. He's streaky. Warren Fogle is the same way. Then you have a 4th line of Derek Ryan, who's now 34 years old.
What did he do last year, though?
I don't care what he did last year. He's now 34, and it should be noted that he's more than likely going to fall off a bit of a cliff.
You can take a dip for sure, but
very young man at 34.
Should be your 13th forward, or just don't sign him to a 2-year deal. I like Ryan.
The 2-year deal is a strategic thing, though.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep the cap down, but also if Derek Ryan's like, hey, I want $1 million, say, sorry, Derek Ryan, good luck somewhere else. And then you send him in. You didn't have one. They didn't have a 4th line center. You signed Janmark, which I like, $1 million. That's a good deal for a depth guy. And then you bring in Adam Ernie. Why? Like the bottom 6 just shouldn't have been good enough coming into the season. It's easy for me to say now. And
because going into the season, we were confident with it.
Yeah,
but we were expecting
a top 6.
We were expecting a 33-year-old. 34-year-old Derek Ryan to somehow, lose 7%, 10%, not 27%. But at the same time, we were expecting 2 guys out there, number 99, 97 and 29. Exactly. Him too.
Is he busy?
He's got no points this year, 99. Come on. But you're expecting those 2 guys out there to do, and even they weren't pulling their weight or their 100%. Typical weight. This was on absolutely everybody.
It was. I agree. I feel like we're getting sidetracked.
But we're getting sidetracked in the delicious debate.
Need to do better.
But I think what you're saying there is like the build of the team. We said we're rolling back the same roster, but the same roster expected or needed McDavid to score 140 points and needed Draisaitl to score 100 points.
So that's average for them. That's fine.
I know, but then when they aren't doing it, then you're like, oh shit. Everything is bad in this world.
It was one
of the other guys weren't scoring either. So everything went wrong at the same time.
Yep.
Everybody was ice cold.
Yeah. And we couldn't sit there and point your finger at one thing because you're ignoring something else. But you needed 10 fingers to point at 10 things because all 10 things were wrong at the same time.
But then Sunday morning they did, and they fired them.
Well, I think that decision was made previous.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't the only thing with me, and I don't want to keep going back on the decision to fire Woodcroft because what's done is done. Yep. But I was just surprised how fast it was.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
And I wasn't here on Tuesday, and so I won't drag the debate on any further. But my thing is it's a detriment to Knoblauch too, and that's the issue. It's like Darnell Nurse signing his big contract. People expect now Knoblauch to come in and fix everything, and like we're saying, even these 2 games, you can't really point to him and be like, yeah, he's the reason that this all happened. He's got time now, and it's going to take time for him to sink his teeth and create an identity on this team. And that's just frustrating for me as a fan because we shouldn't be here at game.
But this team doesn't need a coach like that. This team needs the players need to do it. Period.
The thing I've liked the most about Knoblauch is his
great set of hair.
Great set of hair. But it's creativity of things too. To go into overtime and think
the 1 and 2. Man, I was scratching my head when I saw
I
that.
was too, but then he comes out and he explains.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And like the creativity of like trying to, and it's two games, but like try new things of like, okay, well, how about I don't exhaust McDavid and don't waste his shift and just wait and see what happens?
What did you think? What did you think? You looked up.
Moment,
you were at the game.
I was at the game and I didn't notice until we were like hemmed in the zone. I'm like, wait, we have two defensemen on here. And then they couldn't get it out. I'm like, this feels terrible. But then he comes out and he explains the decision. And he's like,
what did he say? I missed that part.
He's like, if we had won the draw, Ekholm would have come off.
If you lose the draw, you play defense. You don't want to waste both your best players chasing defense.
Gotcha.
Anaheim Ducks did it to us 3-4 years ago where they won the face-off. Then they went behind their net and just passed it around their net.
They're going to be
45 minutes to a minute, 45 seconds to a minute. 45. We changed. They came back and scored.
I'm interested to see what the NHL's tabled rules to prevent doing that.
No. So they just went around their own net. Like they kind of circled in their own zone, not up and back and up and up. But that's going to be an off-season thing.
But like they just asked, Elias Pettersson was just
it was Elias Pettersson. Quads asked him.
And he said, I don't know what they can do to fix it. It's like, no, they've absolutely come up with
it's the over and back rule.
Yep.
Shot clock.
Easy. Shot clock or over and back.
Either way,
go over. I didn't read it because it was a lot.
Well, like so I don't like the over and back because what I would do is I like getting was it ball hockey where the blue line's the blue line till you get in the blue line, then the blue line's disappeared and the blue line now is the red line.
Yeah.
I said that the most confusing way as possible.
But yeah, that idea of you can't
just
go past the blue line once you've entered the attacking zone, you can't leave the attacking zone of your own volition.
So like basketball you can't pass it backward over the half court.
You can't leave the zone.
Yeah,
they do all the time now.
Oh, interesting. Fail. Just to try and get.
See, now I don't know if I like that too much because I like when Connor does that because he gets his speed going. So if I had to choose one, I think I'm a shot clock guy.
Yeah, I
don't know what you put on the shot clock though.
The only issue is that unlike with basketball, you can't give possession to the team that you gave it up. So it's a face off again.
That just slows it.
That is the issue. And
I think after a while you'll figure it out, and then you won't get a lot of them.
I like how they're looking to change the rules of overtime, which is electric, and not just getting rid of the shootout.
Yeah, just make it 10 minutes.
Make it 10 minutes. You're going to have depth. I've said it a bunch of times. You're going to have depth players coming out. You're going to have weird matchups, and it's going to go both ways. And
you got to go to the PA
spicy.
for that. You got to go deal with the PA with that one too, though, because now you're extending playing time and more injuries and blah blah blah. That's what's holding it back.
Hey, stop being babies, PA. Let's figure it out.
And I like that they're trying to clean up overtime a little bit and make it even better. Right? I think we all have accused it a little bit of going from when 3-on-3 started. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is crack cocaine," and now it's been overcoached a little bit.
Tactical.
Well, you find a way to defend it, right? So now you got to defend it. Well, shit. Now I got to go back.
So it'll be interesting to see where they land. Like if they do come up with some kind of version of the over and back rule from basketball or a shot clock or whatever it is. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes.
But I'm still a little bit hesitant on the change because offside challenges. Thought it was a great thing. Look at it now. So change. Cool.
Still hate
and
that.
Then back things come.
That what would it be? The linesman that missed the Matt Duchene one. Come on, man. He was 10 feet offside.
Dude, that guy, now here's my question. That dude get any type of punishment?
No, he's probably
the referees guild is pretty protected.
He's probably lines in the Stanley Cup Finals that year.
Because even like the officiating on the last game wasn't fantastic.
Well, the linesmen in the last game weren't. There was a couple or multiple times where it felt like the Oilers were in the zone and it was going to be a fucking waste if they scored.
Let's talk about the last game for our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. If there's one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. That ad read flows, baby.
Easy peasy lemon squeeze.
Let's talk about it. There was a big win against the Kraken on Wednesday night. Boys already started diving into it. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't know, the refereeing again, it calls it into question, and it's frustrating.
We were having a fun time in Seattle. Remember, Rick, that linesman?
And just for the record, because obviously everyone's going to know that Rick's the one who hates all the stripes and blah, blah, blah.
You're the only one that knows the names.
Oh, and I hate the fact I know. People look at me for this now. Usually they tell me who they are too on Twitter. Anyways, no, just for the record, I see something good. I give them credit.
Yes, you do.
We're up in row 612.
Yep.
And I am trying to give the linesman great offside call, great icing call, great offside.
So very funny.
We all jumped in on it.
They needed that.
I'm hating what they do in the face-off circle right now, though.
Linesman?
Yeah.
What is it?
What do
That's
you
right. I
mean?
forgot about that.
It's just that you can't have a clean drop.
They've been
Like,
all
just get
over
in
the
there,
Oilers.
drop the puck, get in there. What's your name? What's your name? Tie your skate, do this, do that, do that, do that. You're out.
It's like they want
Let's try it again.
in the game.
They want the
like,
attention.
drop
they want the
the puck,
attention.
man.
We're
Like,
not
no
there
one
to see you,
cares.
linesmen. But
there was
thank
a
you very
play
much for doing your job.
There was a play during the Kraken game where the outside linesman waved off the draw and then nobody left the circle. And he was like, okay, it's a warning then. Instead.
Yeah. No, I think, they pointed the one way. They pointed the one way, which means, hey, centerman,
Yes.
you leave,
Oilers
new
gone.
centerman in. And then he's just like, I'm just going to stand here. And this guy's, and the guy who's dropping the puck was like, all right, I'm good. All right, go, bang, drop.
There was a moment in the game too, and he was right in front. I can't remember what period it was, but Steve Kazari was throwing guys out of the circle, and it's like, buddy, like, come on,
Drop the puck.
like, let's get this moving. Nobody's here to watch you,
No.
but he thinks everyone's here to watch
Yes.
him.
A couple of things that stuck out to me on that one. For our friends at Betway, provided you're 19 plus, can do so responsibly. I saw Connor McDavid anytime goal at plus money after scoring the night before.
Oh,
You hammer that every single time. As far as I was concerned, I was already spending it before the game started.
Seeing Vegas and those numbers lines was another reason why I was not getting overly worried about the Oilers and their whole 2 and whatever the hell we were. Because if you looked at them, and Jay was losing his mind in Seattle about this, but our odds were still like not very favorable for us. Like,
Oilers are always favored.
yeah, like money line or Edmonton minus 160 against Seattle. We have 2 dang wins. Like, why?
Public loves Edmonton.
The other thing that obviously, 2 more things that I wanted to mention. Stuart Skinner came up with clutch saves when they needed it. He did that against Seattle on Saturday when we were there as well. There was one against Yanni Gourde, I think, if I remember off the top of my head, early in the game on Saturday. Stu stoned him. That ended up turning around and going the other way.
And some good luck ones. They're going through his leg, and as he's turning, he kicks it out.
Yeah, kicks it out. So
Whereas last game, it wouldn't.
again, they were getting PDO'd like crazy.
Yeah.
If you don't know what PDO is, you go, what are you nerds
luck.
talking about that? It's essentially the NHL's equivalent of luck. It's a combination of save percentage plus shooting percentage. Anything sub 1, you go, that's a little low. Anything above 1, you go, okay, makes sense.
We're getting some
We're getting
good bounces here.
So the second thing, Stuart Skinner came up with the saves he needed to. He finished with a 1914 save percentage. That's what you need. That is just quality starting goaltending. Number 3, Big Daddy Kane with a natural hattie to not only pull the Oilers back into an OT position, but ultimately win the game.
But that was it. We were up by a goal. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Tie game. All right, whatever. Down by 1. All right. Like, boys, like, don't grip those. Down by 2. Okay, guys, like, we can do that. And they got through that. They persevered through this. Something that a week and a half ago, it would have crumbled them. They pushed their way through.
To that point,
we got that goal. And then we got the empty net goal. First one of the year. And then we take it to overtime. We get it there. There's so many positives to build on out of that game.
So one of those ones too was Kane brought it back to 3-2. If this was 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, Seattle would have found a way to go back and score a goal to make it 4-2.
40 seconds.
But with probably like 90 seconds left or so, Stu made a huge save on Teravainen. That was a glove save. It was a key moment of the game. The Oilers went down, empty net, pulled the goalie, get the tying goal right at 40 seconds left.
It didn't hurt that we were playing the Kraken, who can't seem to hold a lead. To
Also, but like what I think Rick's point is, like, they still had to do it. They still had to put the work in. They still had to grind back. They still had to claw back into the game, and they did it.
Yeah.
And then obviously Evander Kane. Liam, what was it like to be in the building? I'm thinking about, of all the games the Jonas brothers could go to,
Joe Bros.
they go to a game where the Oilers fall down. The home team falls down by 2 goals, come roaring back at the back half of the third period, win it in OT on a hat trick. Hats come raining down all over the place. What was it like in the barn when that happened?
It was awesome. I think the last few minutes, people were just so appreciative of the effort. I think it's a good way to put it. Like, people were really getting behind him. And then when it went to overtime, basically until like it started again, people like applauded and chanting, "Let's go Oilers," and all that.
I thought you were talking about the
stuff.
Jonas brothers this whole time.
No, they left.
They did leave.
They left.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
So for anybody who wants to say the Jonas brothers and blah, 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 they left when it was 3-1.
Oh,
They did.
So the Oilers won because they left.
Wow.
Don't try and put these things.
Kennedy, big man.
I'm about to get in trouble.
Yeah, Kennedy's at the
I'm
door.
about to get in trouble. Hey, he's on my side though.
The Jonas
They
brothers
left.
curse is
They
real.
left.
They left.
They
Jonas
left.
brothers curse is real. Wow. Rick confirms it.
And you know what? Everything started to go bad when Joe Jonas popped that Oilers jersey on. The 3 consecutive Kraken goals.
Yeah, people blame Leon and Leon and McDavid going together. It was the Joe Bros.
Exactly.
But yeah, the vibes were sweet. Everyone got to throw the hats. I threw my first hat.
Oh boy.
The epic.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
as hat chuckers that are amongst you. Thank you for joining us.
Were you
messaged me and said, did you throw it like BM did in LA?
Which was basically a spike, a touchdown
did you have the net in
spike.
front of you though?
I did. I had to bend it. I didn't get it over.
Like Beckham?
I not quite because his would have gone in, but I threw it and I just like tipped the top of the glass and then someone threw it over.
You didn't try and go up and over?
Man, no way. The thing is, there was only one way to do it, and it was to try and whip it around.
Yeah.
And I just nicked the top and couldn't get it quite over, so it landed on someone's.
Happens to the best of us.
But hey, the effort was there.
How does it feel to chuck your first hat?
It felt pretty good.
I love it.
I did it, and I wasn't looking for it in the moment. I didn't think, oh, Kane's on the ice, I got to get ready for it. I was just celebrate. Then I realized what had happened. I'm like, oh, I got to do it too. And then I thought I just got that hat like a week ago. So I was like,
that happened. So eventually, now that you're officially a hat chucker,
backup hats to the game.
You start bringing up backup hats to the game. Because now the next thing for you is to do a hat toss in someone else's rink. That one is special.
That would be cool. Hopefully in the mullet.
That
would be sweet. Yeah, it was.
I've lost a lot of good hats that were brand new.
So I will be at the mullet.
Yep.
Nice. Me too.
My personal record for Nation Vacation right now, my last 3.
Hot.
All have been Hatties.
Was there a Hattie in Vegas?
Yeah. It was Leon again.
Really?
Leon in Nashville, Leon in Vegas, and then Hyman.
Didn't throw my hat.
Did I throw my hat? I feel like I would have probably thrown my hat.
Probably, yeah.
That's what I tend to do.
In Vegas? Yeah.
Especially after a couple of cocktails. Old Bag Milk's hat is off before the puck even hits the net.
Sober,
I think Jay
I got it.
His hat on at the end.
Yeah, Jay's
he'll take his hat
retired. I retired from throwing hats. I can't afford it anymore. But
hey, that's totally fair.
I used to throw them all the time.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, I've lost too many hats.
They're an expensive item to be thrown on the ice.
Can't do it.
Come be a pair of socks, eh?
Yep.
So what I tend to do now, an old pair of socks, they're always popping their shoes off.
That'd be really funny.
So
the sock trick.
I'm with Dan. Especially when it's a brand new hat, like the one that Liam threw. So what I tend to do now when I'm at a game is wear really old Nation hats.
Smart.
Like one of the ones that's like, I might feel bad that we don't have these anymore, but fuck, is it old? The way
I
it
haven't
goes.
worn it in 2 years anyways. I'm not going to notice.
Yep. I wasn't wearing a hat in Seattle. I was wearing a toque. So you can't throw a toque. It's not the same.
Or a winter hat, as they call them in New Jersey. Those fucking monsters.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, they're giving away winter hats. You know how they have their their branding where they do like a jersey that says jersey and a hat that says hat. Well, they're doing winter hat toques.
In England, we call toques hats and
caps.
Those caps, like hats, caps.
What do you call a fedora?
Fedora.
What do you call a beanie then? Like a beanie toque.
We don't have those.
Gotcha.
Bully.
You don't exist in England, Bag Milk. Sorry.
I don't exist. I got to go over there and change the culture.
It's just a hat.
That's just a hat?
It's just a hat.
What else stuck out to you guys from Wednesday's win over the Kraken?
A W.
Yeah, a W. That was nice.
Edmonton.
Things went their way. The team looks a little more confident. I think you'll see they'll keep progressing as a team.
There was a quote from Nobby post game where he kind of said, listen, would I have preferred that the Oilers won 5 rip and everything went perfect? Yes. But he goes, I also think winning like this could be more beneficial because you really had to work for it. Yeah. So the next time you're in that situation, you know for sure that you can pull yourself back out and pull out the win.
Remember how to win those one-on-one battles.
Yep. And it's a Pacific Division win.
Yeah. There was something that stood out to me, and unfortunately it was not a positive. Sam Gagner probably shouldn't play on the first line anymore.
He isn't.
I know, but
he started there on Wednesday.
Shouldn't be an option. There's got to be somebody else.
It was tough.
It's not quick enough.
Yeah,
he's got everything else you would want from a first line right winger.
But again, who was on the second line at that point? Then
it would have been Kane, Hyman, and Dry.
Yeah, so you don't want to. Those boys are
break that up, but you could always go to Fogle, elevate Fogle to McDavid's line, and put Lavoie on the third line.
So we're gonna go over some line combos. Like Sam he doesn't have the boots.
Doesn't have them anymore.
You know, he's got 2 robot hips and he's still trying to figure them out.
Great story, though.
Incredible.
Fantastic story. I love that he's on the team. I want him on the team.
Well,
just not on the first line.
And if he's in the offensive zone, he knows what to do.
Yeah. And
It's just getting there. That's the battle.
Yep. It's really good.
You know, it's like our rule, the old stair club rule. By the end of the nation vacation, you do it. But it's
Always.
a battle to get up those stairs.
Not even a question.
Appreciate you saying that, Liam, because it's an uncomfortable conversation that Oiler fans, I don't think, want to have, but we have to talk about it.
Not everybody can be on the
at the
first
beginning
line.
of this season. I was going to be surprised if he even got on the roster, and unfortunately, he got on there because of some negatives. But I think going now, the way we have it, I think there is a spot for him in the 12.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. In the 12 for sure. Before we move on to the new line combos, because they do have new line combos today, I do want to check in on who delivered. So everybody get your thinking caps on while I read this ad read verbatim. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code NATION25. That's 25% off up to $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code NATION25. That's all caps, NATION25. Don't forget, that's the code NATION25 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid only in Canada, subject to change. Terms do apply. So here's what we're saying. Tomorrow, it is a matinee, right?
Cheers.
You're hungry. You pop open the DoorDash app, you download it, you use the code NATION25, you order yourself a pre-celebration donaire, or you just order a celebratory donaire when the Edmonton Oilers take on and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Whoop, whoop.
So now, for our friends, give me a fresh ding dong, would you, Liam?
Ding dong.
Now, for our friends at DoorDash, I'm going to ask Nation Dan. He's sitting right in front of me. Mr. Nation Dan, who delivered for you on Wednesday night?
It's one of those things that, I don't know, it's ugly. He got fined for it afterwards, but I feel like it kind of got the team fired up. It's going to be Adam Ernie for delivering an elbow. An elbow to Pierre-Edouard Bellevar's face. I'm not a fan of the move, but at the same time, it's exciting to see, or it's good to see a fourth line player engaging and trying to spice things up. Again, do it within the clean aspects of the game.
It was,
Adam. But no, that's a pretty.
I don't know about that.
That's a pretty.
Look, I am following the lead of the player safety department and the officials. That was a 2-minute penalty and a $2,000 fine.
So, anyways, Adam Ernie gets my delivered of the week.
He delivered.
Couldn't disagree more.
I love it.
I like how Liam was like, "Don't you say it."
To be fair,
Into his
that's about the only thing he's done all season.
But he did it at the worst time ever.
I would just
that
say
could have ended the game for the Oilers.
Could have, yeah.
that
were
very,
looking
I
at
was when I was
PK was
watching it
off.
live, I was just like, "Oh, please don't be 5 minutes. Please don't be 5 minutes. Please don't be 5 minutes."
It's just like the Draisaitl cross check to the back of the ankle. So
Liam made this joke on O&E, so I got to give him the credit for the line. But how did Draisaitl get a bigger fine for cross-checking Bo Horvat than Adam Ernie did for chicken winging someone's head?
And they said that that's the maximum allowable.
It's
too.
it's based on what you make and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
whatever.
so it is like the max allowable
For
is
him,
that
for anybody who
oddly
makes his
specific
salary.
number of like $18.70.
Where Leon's just rolling with 10K as he goes out.
But I will say this: is it was not an elbow. It was going there, and then I don't know if he stopped himself or that's where the contact went, but it was mid bicep area, which I think changed it a bit. I'm just saying.
I would say that if that happened to an Oiler, we'd be raging.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I just think that sometimes you need that. You need that from a guy that is useless otherwise.
Listen, if somebody is going to throw an elbow at somebody else's head, I'd love it to be Adam Ernie.
I don't think Adam Ernie will be around come this time next week.
He's in the lineup.
This time next week, I said.
But he's in the lineup ahead of Lavoie or Gagne.
Let's talk about the new line combos,
crazy.
Liam. Let's talk about them today.
But
at
first,
practice.
Liam has to tell us
What
who
do you mean is
delivered.
ahead of the line?
Oh yeah, we actually nobody's told us who delivered. I'm getting distracted here.
Adam Ernie delivered.
All right, Rick, you're up next. We're getting sidetracked here. Who delivered for you?
Well, I'll tell you this. It's definitely Evander Kane. And I saw a really funny stat the other day. So Evander Kane's been in the league for what, 10, 12 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
2009.
So he has... Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah. He was
Shit,
incredible.
man.
So anyways, he has 9 hat tricks, 7 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs. 9 hat tricks in 14 years. 6 of them are with the Edmonton Oilers.
That is a wild stat.
And he's been here for like a cup and a half of coffee.
Another thing to mention about Evander Kane, for who delivered for DoorDash, since his demotion to to the third line against the Winnipeg Jets, where everybody was talking about where he had the interview with Scott Oak and people were like, oh, he's calling out. He was unhappy, which is what you want him to be. I also have no problem with it. In the 10 games since, 13 points, 7 goals, 6 assists. Evander Kane has whatever he needed to do.
Doing his thing, man.
He just needed to talk to Scott Oak.
It's funny though, because we when he gets put on the third line, they call it a demotion. But then 2 or 3 games ago, we went with Connor, Leon, Nuge down the middle, and Nuge on the third line wasn't a demotion. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, Nuge needs to get going. He needs to channel whatever. Because he had some great chances against Seattle on Wednesday, and he is going to get one, but he's another guy. He just needs to pop one, get a little confidence. Anyway, Liam, who you got? Who delivered for you for our friends at DoorDash?
Stu.
Yep. That's all you're giving me? Word association
insightful.
DoorDash with Liam.
He was unreal. He's the reason the Oilers were able to win that hockey game.
I will go with the dynamic duo. Who delivered? The dynamic duo. Leon, 6 points in 2 games. I'm not saying they've had perfect games, but those are what we need from them. Connor McDavid, he went 8-9 goals without a goal, games without a goal.
Something.
So to have him back to back, and the goal against the Kraken on Wednesday was beautiful.
Okay,
Joey Decord he may as well have gone to the parking lot.
Okay, but do we not send a card to Adam Larson?
Well, you kind of.
Lars was literally in his skating lane, and then was it Leon coming down the middle?
Yep.
And then Lars just kind of, I'm going to go to the left side here and leave the best player in the world, a big ass lane to go in. And yeah, I don't know what Lars was doing. Thank you very much, Adam. I think you did a couple things for us on Saturday night as well. I see what you're doing to us.
Once an Oiler, always an Oiler.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adam Larson, who delivered.
Definitely
Connor
got that once or
McDavid.
twice.
Listen, if this team is going to climb out of the hole that they dug themselves over the first 10 games or whatever it is, Connor being red hot is going to be a big part of it. So seeing Connor do Connor things, I'm always going to have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You love to see it. I'm going to check on the odds real quick ahead of tomorrow's matinee against the Lightning to see what that anytime goal is looking like. Because chances are it's probably not plus anymore.
Plus 1,500 to win the cup.
Well, might as well double down then. The other thing that came out today, everybody wants to talk about a little bit of line combos. Dylan Holloway, unfortunately, out for months. We were all saying on Saturday in Seattle that was his best game of the year.
That might have been his best game of his career so far. He was everywhere, and I don't care if he had 3 penalties or 2 in a fight.
He was everywhere. So to see him get derailed by injuries for the second straight season, it's a bummer for him, but means opportunity for someone else. So let's talk about the line combos that just came out today at practice. Liam, what do you think? Nuge, McDavid, Brown on the first line.
I like it. I think Brown was brought in to be a top 6 player, and the Oilers need to play him in the top 6.
Anybody else? Thoughts?
Can't be much worse than what they showed in the last game. So I think that, yep.
Kane, Draisaitl, Hyman. I like that.
Big boys
I
got to
don't
eat.
understand how it works. It works great, and I'm not criticizing it, but it just almost shouldn't work in the same sense of they're all very similar in the way they play in some regards too. They're all very short distance players.
I think
good.
I think
it works great,
but that's what I mean. You bring that 5 together then, and you're making smaller passes. Because like we said on Saturday, I think I am done with the 40-yard breakout pass.
Yeah.
Oh,
it works well.
You know what? Nobby, another thing I've noticed, we're getting a little bit lower on the wingers on that breakout. A little bit lower. Old Bag Milk sees it. I see you, Nobby. I see you changing that breakout because hanging out at the other blue line ain't it. I'll tell you that much. Third line, Vogel, McLeod, Ryan. That's Derek Ryan on the right side.
So the Derek Ryan part there, I like that line. I don't think Derek Ryan should be there. I see.
Who do you want there?
I'd put Lavoie there.
I would also put Lavoie there.
I would 3.
Anybody else? Dan?
I'm okay with Ryan. Well, Lavoie hasn't shown me much in this call up to believe that. I don't know.
He has a little bit.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you got to consider with him too is
who he's playing with.
He got to play with Adam Ernie and James Hamlin.
That's fair.
I think they need to know what they have in Lavoie over these next 3 games.
He just dangled somebody in the corner, coming out of the corner. That might have been just in front of you too.
Yes, it was. It was that game. He needs to play with skill.
Yeah.
And I think he is the only threat on that 4th line, which limits.
And we're in an opportunity where the team can just place him there because he's the next offensive player to play in the top 9. Yep. We are not a top 6, bottom 6. We are a top 9 bottom line.
100%.
Currently, that bottom line is had Adam Ernie and Lavoie splitting duty on the left side. Hamblin, Gagne.
Hamlin. Hamlin. It's probably time to head back to California.
You don't like him?
I have nothing against him. He's just not better than 12 other guys.
I just think his speed is something the others don't have, that center position on the fourth line. Like if it's not him, then it's Gagne or Ryan. I think it's just such a...
See, and I don't mind because they were playing in a situation where one guy took the face off, and then after the face off, you kind of find your spot. So even if you go to take a face off, and then when you're playing, when the puck's going, you're now playing the winger spot.
Yeah, and like when Janmark was healthy and he was doing that, it works, but it's...
See, I think we'll see Janmark next week.
I think, he should be back from his LTIR.
I think we'll see Janmark next week.
Allegedly, in Rick's opinion.
Looking at the D pairings, where I think it's interesting is that there's no changes, but Vinny is still the 6th D man. Broberg recalled, still the 7th man.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason, anything Vinny's done to take him out of the lineup.
Did your butthole pucker a little when you hit the post there in the third period?
A little bit. I was really hoping he was going to turn left and fire that puck along the boards. It was a delayed penalty. Fire that puck forehand along the boards.
Yeah, let him touch it. Who cares?
Yeah, or get it to the other side. So yeah, I get it, but you're just trying to do a little too much.
It was one of those ones.
Didn't go in, thankfully, but yeah.
It was one of those ones where I did a legitimate face palm inadvertently. I was like, "Oh my Lord!" It worked out. It's fine. But then my favorite part about it is they were following kind of Vinny around after it happened on Sportsnet, and he looked like he saw a ghost.
Well, yeah, I think for that player in a vacuum, he's had a good season so far.
I have no problems with him.
I don't have a problem with him. I would just like to...
just that play made me old butthole pucker.
He's had
that was scary. But dude, week and a half ago, backwards to this season, that thing goes in the net.
It'll be interesting to see when they put Broberg in.
Yep. I'm curious too.
Just to see, because the coach needs to see him.
Coach needs to see him, or otherwise he's recalled for no reason. That's pointless.
And then after that, it can be a bit of like, okay, well, now you can make your decision on how you want to play. Do you want the bigger guy in Vinny, who's probably a bit stronger? Well, not probably. He's definitely stronger defensively than Broberg. Or do you want the offensive mindset, if that's the way Paul Coffey wants to play, right? Is have pucks going quicker up the ice, and Broberg's probably a better option. But I agree, Vinny's done.
And it's funny because if you think about Paul Coffey and what he played with, he was definitely...
It was the boots.
We had both, though. There were guys that was back when you used to have like an offensive guy, and then you had the Kevin Lowe guy, and
yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how he handles that.
We need Igor Ulanov back. I would take that.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for Ask the Idiots, boys. Got 3 questions here, and I think Kennedy's got a bonus one when she comes in for her quote game. We'll get to that in a second. Liam, you're the first idiot in my line of sight. This one comes in from Brett. There's been a lot of negativity around the Oilers this year. Granted, a lot of it's been deserved. What is something that you have liked about the Oilers season so far, whether it's a player, moment, situation, or so on?
I try and think of a collective answer. Warren Fogle. Feel like he's not been that great the last few games, but I feel like when everything was going to shit, he was actually pretty solid.
But he hasn't been bad. No, so he's either neutral or good, which is a good thing for us.
Rick, what do you got? What's a positive for you? Player, situation, or otherwise?
Well, like I just said, I'll in a vacuum, in a small little scale here, it's Vin. I think that we had a question about our number 6 defenseman coming in, and you've seen him putting up 16, 15, 17 minutes, and I don't think you've noticed a big detriment on the line. So I think that's a really good thing for us.
Dan, what you got?
I feel like everything has just had a little tinge of negativity to it around the team pretty consistently.
Not the last 3 games.
Glenn Gulletson?
The Teflon Don.
He's been consistent throughout this entire season, and haven't really had to call him into question. I don't know. Like it's one of those years where it's just kind of everybody's had their question mark already, and we're just getting it out of the way early. That's a positive for me. Is that everybody's had a problem.
The January losing streak is in the rearview window already.
Exactly.
If I'm looking for a positive, he scored a big hat trick the other night. Evander Kane, I thought after having the detrimental season he had last year after Patty Maroon stepped on his wrist.
Yeah.
And people were like, what's he going to be like next year? Is he going to be able to score? What's his shot going to be like? To see him with 7 goals already and 13 points in his last 10 games, I think that if there's a positive, Evander Kane rebounding after what was a very, very tough personal season for him last year with injuries. Like he had that wrist thing and then he busted his rib shortly after coming back. And he was never really the same Evander Kane that we needed him to be. And he looks a lot more like that guy this year. So I'm going to say that's a positive for me.
He is that guy, pal.
And I also want to thank him for that quote against Calgary, that video that came out, the what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. None of you are going to do anything about this. It still makes me laugh because he's right.
He is.
What are you going to do?
Who's going to dance with Evander Kane? None of those clowns.
Leads the league in scrums.
Kane?
Yeah, it was a quote from
he's like one of those
else,
guys too. Like I love guys that can chirp and talk shit and throw the body around, but then they can also back it up with some goals.
Yeah, that's just it. That's why he's always in scrums, because they ain't no one want to fight him.
I love it. Second question, we're reversing the order. Nation Dan, this is just, you got to put on your, you got to pull your crystal ball out for this one.
Okay.
You got it?
Got it.
Is it ready?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. What is your best guess as to what happens with Jack Campbell? He's having a tough time in the AHL. We're talking about in the early 800s for a save percentage. Is it a trade? Is it a buyout? Or does he return to form and come back to the Oilers?
Okay. Crystal Ball says that he probably spends the whole year in Bakersfield, and then they have a conversation in the offseason about whether it's like mutually agreeing to terminate the contract or whatever. I think that's probably where it ends up.
You cannot mutually agree that contract. Well, I mean, I would be blown away if he hand shook and said, keep that money.
Yeah, he's not Adam Oates.
The NHLPA would not allow it.
He's not Adam Oates at the end of his contract.
No, I don't think that. However, maybe, and this is maybe, a little too positive. Well, it wouldn't be really positive, but it would be very helpful for the Edmonton Oilers. But maybe you can see him taking a Slater Cuckoo type of LTIR and
taking care of himself.
Yeah, the whole mental health side of things.
We spoke about that on Wednesday too on the live show. Like,
because here's one thing too about pro sports.
Practical thing, and it's horrible.
Here's one thing about pro sports is we like to point at contracts. We like to point at players like they're robots and they're just numbers and all that shit. And he's a human being. Mm-hmm. So Slater Cuckoo did it where he had to take care of himself. And we saw the clips. He's talking to Gazdick, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we saw those clips where he's talking to Luke Gazdick, and you feel for a guy in that situation, and maybe Jack's the same. But Liam, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think this should happen, but I think he's going to get back on track in Bakersfield for like a couple of weeks, and they go, "This is going to be like, he's back," and then we see him back up here, and then he's not going to be good. And then I think at the end of the season, they have no other option but to buy him out.
I think it's the buyout for sure.
I think it's the only
practical. It's the only practical thing to think. Like, yeah. I mean,
I don't think he should play again for the Oilers. I don't think he's good enough, and I don't think the Oilers can. Like, we're sitting here and talking about when Pickett should play games. I have more trust in Pickett to play a game than I would Jack Campbell right now. And that is a big problem. And I'm sure a few of the guys in the dressing room think that way too. Is like, this guy's here. Like, he might be, I'm not saying he's not a good guy. Evidently, he's a very good person. But he's not a good goalie. He shouldn't play for the Oilers ever again.
My guess is the Oilers don't want to do a buyout. My guess is they vastly overpay to trade him somewhere.
I don't know if anyone's going to take him. But
like we saw, like the Kings did it with Cal Peterson.
Yeah, well, and some team could take him on and then shove him.
What was Cal Peterson's numbers?
He was worse.
Same contract, basically the same numbers.
Worse numbers?
He had like an 868 in
the NHL. Did he go down to the AHL at all?
Yeah.
He went
down
last
and did he have worse numbers in the AHL?
He actually better in the American.
That's where
they sent him down on the first year of his deal too.
See, and I get that, but I just like the way Jack went down and things have actually dipped numbers of highs.
But I think he's better than an AHL goalie.
I think so.
So I think that
100%.
eventually he's going to rebound in the AHL. He's going to be like, fuck, like, okay, I'm here. Let's just play. And then there's no pressure for him down there really outside of, saving your career.
A lot of pressure.
But like ultimately to win day to day, like there is up here, I don't think it's the same pressure.
It probably didn't help him that his first 3 games were in Canadian markets.
Yeah,
Like
definitely not.
NHL
In
markets.
Vancouver and Calgary?
Vancouver and Calgary. Like,
Yeah.
the others could have probably helped that out a little bit.
Well, so
Put him in,
I was thinking about that too.
Lehigh Valley or whatever.
I bet, and I don't know anything about anything, but I bet the Oilers' plan was to have him down there for those 3 games and go pick him up when he was in Calgary.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, they did that.
That was best case scenario anyways.
Broberg.
Yeah, I think that was probably the plan, but it did not go the way they thought it was going to go. So my bet is I think that they pay a lot to get rid of him to avoid a buyout.
Good question.
I don't even know what the price is.
What do we talk about? I said, how many years of draft picks can you trade right now?
I think it's 3.
Is there 3? We can't do the NBA thing.
We can't go up to like 2050 and be
Yeah.
like, have all of
Pick
those
swaps.
the whole decade.
Can you even protect picks in the NHL?
Yep.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
have draft protected.
Only for like, you
Top
can only
10.
be like top 10. No, it can't
Usually,
be
yeah.
like top 3, right?
I think there is.
Could.
There has been
I mean, the other
situations,
team
yeah.
has to sign off on it.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's been a stipulation.
Lottery protected. Well, it's usually lottery protected.
Yeah,
the
that's
lottery is
top
that,
three.
but it's that.
Which is top 3. Or no, top 10.
No, lottery.
that's right.
Yeah, lottery is top 10.
Top 16.
Technically.
Well, technically now.
So I'm looking at the Cal Peterson trade.
Yeah.
$5 million a year, but his was 3, not 5. To
Well,
trade
4.
him,
But now there's only 3 left.
3.5.
And
If you traded them in something.
Cal Peterson was what, 20?
He's 29.
he's 29.
And he
So
catches the
20.
weird way too. So,
he
that
was
definitely had to
28.
cost
He was
more.
28 at the time.
So to get him off the Kings books, they had to go traded from the Los Angeles Kings with Sean Walker, Helge Grans, and a 2nd-round pick in the 2024 draft for Hayden Hodgkinson and Ivan Provorov. So
But on top of that, too, they had to keep $2 million of Provorov.
yes,
Who kept $2 million of Provorov?
LA. So Philly traded Provorov to LA, and then LA technically traded into Columbus. So that LA could retain 2.025.
so I guess the point here is that just it
Was LA, but it was, what was LA's cap situation at the time? Because we can't exactly eat very much.
LA's cap situation was an issue too, because that was when they were.
Was it
that
as
the-
small as ours?
That was the summer of Gavrikov, and they had to let Korpisalo go for nothing. Wasn't it?
Yeah,
That
this
would have been
was
last
this
summer.
past
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. So Gavrikov signed, but they couldn't afford Korpisalo.
No. So
And they shipped out other people too in the Dubois deal.
they shipped out 3 depth players in a Dubois deal.
so I mean, like it's doable, but it's not. It's going to be costly.
But,
Well, Jeff Jackson and his unnamed friend better get on things then.
but the difference between LA and Edmonton, too, is that LA have a ton of prospects who could come in and play. Like if you look at the team on Cap Friendly, they have Quentin Byfield, Kaliev, Lafreniere, Anderson Dolan, and then also Trevor Lewis, all making less than $1 million. And Quentin Byfield is having a very, very good season. Like the others can't call up 5 guys to play in their forward group who make
Why
less
not?
than that. Because they don't have them.
They have
do
Brad
not
Malone, though.
exist.
They have physical people.
You don't
Not
want to see
ready
the
for the
return of
NHL.
Drake?
I wouldn't be against it,
Bring up
but he's
Drake.
also not like that.
Bring up Borgo.
You get Drake Kajula, and that's it. That's all. You know what he is. Like you look at Borgo would be good. I would do that one. But Byfield's 21, Kaliev's 22, Lafreniere's 22, and Anderson Dolan's 24. Like they have growth. The others call up guys. It's like Greg the Egg, Brad Malone,
Tulio.
Seth. Yeah, Tulio, I guess.
Savoy.
Seth Griffith.
Savoy's playing 4th line in Bakersfield.
Yeah, they're just starting them on the bottom, working their way up.
Either way, it would be a lot different.
So we'll see.
So in other words, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
There, you're gonna have to get
Is-
creative.
The option isn't dead, but it's gonna be tough to wake it up.
I would say it's on the mat.
yeah.
It is on the mat. Okay, last question. Ask the idiots, then we're gonna get to Kennedy. Kennedy's quotes game is coming up after this one. Just in case she's not listening out there, I know she is. Dan, how many more wins before we can say the Oilers are back?
I think you got to get back to 500 before you can truly say that things are okay. So I would say whatever that is for 500.
Four.
I know 4-9-1.
5-9-1 now.
That board out there says 591.
I
Yep,
tend not to
591.
look.
We need
It's
4 to get back to
scary.
500.
So 4 more wins or another win for every loss. So there you go.
Rick, how many more wins until we can say the Oilers are back?
They are back. You noticed you've seen a big change since the Seattle game. Obviously, 500 is not going to make them back or different. They are back. It's now about them just to get back to where they should be.
Liam, how many more wins before we can say the Oilers are back?
I will say 3 because that would mean they win 3 of the next 4 on the road, right? So if they win 3 of the next 4 on the road, I think it's fair to say they're rocking and rolling again.
We got Kennedy in the
I kind
studio.
of agree with Rick too. Sorry, that they kind of are back halfway there too.
They are. You've been down. You got to one win at a time, right? You can't. You can't make up this
Gotta be
record.
one win at a time.
One win at a time.
One shift at a time. How granular do you want?
3 in a row. You
Oh.
should go 2 wins at a time.
As
Just
Jordan,
two wins at a time.
as
Just try.
Jordan Sparks once said, "One step at a time. There's no need to rush."
Bubba Sparks.
Jordan Sparks.
Yeah, it was Bubba Sparks, I think. Kennedy, you're in here. How many more wins before the Oilers are back?
They out of the next 6 upcoming, I'm just looking at the whiteboard now. They got to win 4 out of the next 6, and I think we're back in business.
All right. And you said you had a bonus Ask the Idiots question for the boys.
I do.
What do you got?
My bonus Ask the Idiots question is: if you were a condiment, what would you be and why?
A condiment. If you're a condiment.
And also, Tyler's not here, so you can also name one for Tyler, and he can't defend himself.
Oh, Tyler's is lukewarm water.
Yeah.
Is that a condiment?
That's what he puts on his hot dogs. It's just tap water.
Tyler's is fat-free mayonnaise.
Bubba Sparks.
Shout out to
mustard.
Bubba Sparks.
what would I be?
Did you say hot mustard?
I'm mustard.
Fuck yeah.
I have quite a variety. Different flavor, different day. Don't know what's different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Locale.
Mayonnaise.
I thought it was gonna be something like English.
You are very creamy. I
Why?
suppose.
Are you gonna,
It's too good.
I
Just
don't know
mayonnaise.
why. It's just I like mayonnaise.
me too.
I'm going ketchup. Ketchup.
Why the ketchup?
Yeah.
Because it's a standard sweet sugar-based condiment.
I'm just gonna go. You know what I am? I'm yellow mustard. Some people like it. Some people hate it.
Nobody hates
I
it.
personally love it.
I'm not really a fan.
See?
Some people don't like it when it
I
gets
don't like
spilled on
mustard.
I
jerseys.
probably have 7 to 8 different types of mustard in my fridge right
I have
now.
at least
That's-
4.
and
That's
one
for
type
sure.
on front of your jersey.
No, that
Not
came
anymore.
off very well.
Came right out.
Oh.
Shout out to Mrs. Towelboy for the how-to.
Exactly.
Slay.
We have got Kennedy's quotes game coming up. No Tyler this week, so we can make fun of him. as much
First
as
of
we
all,
want.
though, I have to say, fuck you, Rick. I was like,
You didn't even hear everything.
The Jonas Brothers.
Did they not leave when it was 3-1?
They
Did they
only
leave when-
left
Because
because
they didn't
They had to
the
go
Oilers
gamble.
got
They had to
scared.
go. No, they left
They
to go
only
gamble.
got scared.
No, they had a table booked to the River Cree.
No, they were told to leave.
They had a table booked
They
to the
were
River
told
Cree.
to leave because the Oilers got scared because they were performing. They were playing in front of actual
They were
celebrities.
literally walking down Jasper Ave and nobody even blinked an
No.
eye. We're not going to recognize them.
Yeah, there's tons of pictures online. You're not in the front.
I have
I don't care if
breaking
you were in.
news
Go ahead.
Oh no.
from Robin Brownlee.
Ruben Bronte.
I'm told defenseman Bo Akey, selected 56 overall by the Edmonton Oilers in the 2023 NHL draft, playing with the Barrie Colts,
He's going to be hurt.
is done for the season after having to repair a dislocated shoulder.
He is an Oiler.
Oh, he is an Oiler.
Oh,
I thought we.
I thought we shook this.
Yeah, no kidding.
wow.
As soon as you're like, you
I threw
start
out my
mentioning
punch
him,
card.
man, he was going to.
I threw out my punch card for shoulder surgery.
I think it's safe to say he
So-
broke our achy breaky hearts.
Oh, that's cold.
No.
Liam.
Okay, I won't
No.
tweet that one.
Oh, that was a
The
Gene
test
Prince.
kitchen here.
Yep.
I was like, Gene Principe would be proud of that.
Well, we
yeah,
got
can,
Kennedy's quotes game here.
can you
We
hit
got-
the
Bluetooth is up.
Bluetooth?
We are
Thank
ready to
you.
go
We
for
are-
Kennedy's quotes game. We're back. Love that ad.
Fantastic.
Love the way Tyler talks about Coke Zero.
Actually, the ad right now is polysporin.
Love the way Tyler applies polysporin to his scritches and scratches.
He's got infections. The One Direction infection. Anyways, I'm here with my quote game. Already, take out your notepads and pens.
How many we got today?
We got 6.
Here we go.
2 of somebody. Number
Let's go.
1. This is the last Oilers practice because they missed playoffs again for the 12th time.
Oh. Oh.
Sad. Is that a future one?
Yeah, were you even a part of the company when that one came out?
No.
Or
I was gonna-
Old.
How did you find that?
throwback?
The
She really
world-
is
She's going back to
trying.
like, I think
Oh,
like she's
I'm
going
going
back to
North
like
by
the
North
first
Gretz.
episodes.
That was Chris, the intern.
It's just people who don't.
I'm going back in the trenches. find some dumb shit.
That reminds me,
to say.
going back in the trenches, we're bringing back the hot sauce trivia game.
Oh, yeah. Say
Nugs.
less.
The chicken nugget trivia game?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was chicken nugget
You
trivia.
got to dip it in hot sauce.
Stop.
That's fine, as long as I get some nuggies.
Done. Witness.
And some milk.
He wants
You
mayo.
need some milk.
Need some milk.
Yeah, we saw how you handled your hot box.
Exactly.
Question number 2.
Okay, 2. It's a soup strainer.
What? Might
It's
go
a soup
over.
strainer.
It's a soup
I'm
strainer.
thinking I'm going over here.
Dan,
too.
can you say it's a soup strainer for me?
It's a soup strainer.
That does sound
Number 3.
good.
Also, Pugliarvi is an RFA. Are you fucked?
Oh, that's obvious
Whoa.
one.
All right. Well,
Well, man who swears on this podcast.
there's one grumpy bear that loves to say those kinds of things.
Number 4. Turn his mic off.
Kennedy. Kennedy.
That's why it's called the Kennedy game. Number 5. I'm going to place a couple of shekels on people this week.
That's another good one. At least I got 2.
At least I know that one.
Yeah.
And number 6, everybody sat on their fucking hands.
I didn't get myself. Okay, maybe I missed one.
That is also the way Kennedy wins, is if you don't get your own.
Okay,
teams
I'm
might
not feeling
miss.
confident whatsoever.
No, nor am I.
I am not feeling good about
Okay,
Kennedy's
alrighty,
close
boys.
game today. Tyler, how are you feeling about it?
Getting me armchair GM horny.
All right, relax.
Okay, number 1. This is the last Oilers practice because they missed playoffs again for the 12th time. BM?
I had Rick.
I said
And-
Liam.
I said BM.
I have bag milk.
I did this. Pure shot in the dark for me.
Mm.
Oh,
I kept guessing bag milk on everything and I had to change them. Oh,
It is Chris the intern.
I was right.
Oh, that from the one episode? Is this an old one or the time he came in? You know, he said he was a linesman in the AJHL, but I've never seen that man.
technical
He's so
difficulty.
good, he just blends into the traffic, you know?
Well, that's a good linesman. I don't want to notice them out there
that's-
either.
That's true. I'll tell you, there's some of them out there, though.
He gets in there, goes in, does
that
the
just
job.
reminded me of the Oilers practice.
Unfortunately, this is the last Oilers practice of the year because they missed the playoffs. Bag Milk gets the win. Why do I sound so
Yeah.
childlike?
Fuck.
Let's go.
We were young back then, bag milk.
Yeah, I'm young and full of hope
We
and
were young.
piss and vinegar.
I got too cocky, but
That
whatever.
was
I don't
what,
care.
12 head coaches ago?
1 out of 6. Still.
Do you guys see that graphic? I wish I could give the guy credit, but counting assistant coaches,
24.
24 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Jesus.
It's pretty good.
That's a lot.
It's crazy.
It's pretty good. That means you've been a good team for a long time.
Number 2.
That's the
Get
monster.
it.
Of a good team.
Okay,
Yeah.
number 2. It's a soup strainer. BM.
I had Liam.
I said Rick.
I had to go backwards. I have Dan now.
I said Liam.
Survey says.
Or is it?
The Glenn Anderson
That's like a
stash
tippet,
is
that's
not.
like a tippet one.
Tippets is just thicker. It's
Well,
it's a soup strainer.
It is Dan. Rick comes out with a
oh,
clutch
she
win.
is
I
angry.
hate you.
Yeah.
Comes out with a clutch win. She's trying to attack Rick. I feel like there's personal feelings here for his thoughts on the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. Okay, number 3. Also,
Question number
Pugliarvi is an RFA. Are you fucked?
So that's Tyler.
That was Tyler.
Tyler.
Okay, he's so mad.
You don't have to give an agent permission to seek a trade.
And that's
also,
where
Pugliarvi's an RFA. Are you fucked?
and that's where all these like
Classic
rumor
Tyler.
accounts-
So aggressive.
I am okay.
I fucking. I really
I
thought.
think I'm gonna go 6 for 6.
No. As long
Rick
as
is
you're
in the
wrong.
mix here.
As long
Tyler,
as
how you
you're
doing?
wrong.
Getting me armchair GM
All right,
horny.
relax. Goodness gracious.
It's like he's in the room with us.
I have nothing of what you have, so probably right.
Okay, number 4. Turn his mic off.
I have Dan.
I said
Again, shot in the dark.
BM.
Me.
I said Rick as well.
There's a cold.
Connor went 3 games without getting any points.
Hold
and
on,
you
is this
shit on
the
him too
tourism
now?
Jasper get rid of him content or the cold content?
Lord.
Cold performer of the week,
Good
Tyler
Lord.
Yamamoto, 1 assist.
Just turn his mic off.
Nick, you're Rick on fire today.
Call me
This is not-
6.
No, I fucking.
This is
No,
not
I'm
going the way you
leaving.
thought it would.
No, it's really not.
I like the look on Kennedy's face. She's
No,
just
I
upset
do
right
not.
now.
No, and he's fucking dancing over here. And I'm pissed
Dance.
off.
He's
I'm gonna
emoting on you.
leave.
Number 5.
Number 5. I'm going to place a couple of shekels on people this week.
That is me. I say shekels a lot.
I knew it was you, but I said Rick.
I said BM.
I knew that and I changed it. So you're lucky. That's Liam. It's I have Liam. I knew. Yeah. Damn it. I'll take 3 out of 6.
I thought she was trying
It was
to.
on, bro. It's on right in front of us.
I know. Tyler and I were talking about it, and I was like, I'm gonna place a couple of shekels on people.
No!
It's fun to-
my God.
Oh, I was dead certain it was me.
That is not good.
No.
You got it by accident?
Yeah.
He thought
When you said
shekels.
shekels, or sorry, when she said shekels, I was like, okay, that's BM. But then when she read off the 6th one, I knew that I
No,
had to
this
go
is
to.
the 5th one. So
No,
there's
I know,
no-
but when you read off the 6th one, I said, hey, wait a second, someone's missing. So I went back without even thinking about which one it was.
Switched it.
Oh, and the last was
Okay.
me, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
What is the last quote?
It's Rick.
Like dog shit, and we're still losing 2-0, or we're only down by like a goal, and there's a piss poor effort, and the fans boo. The players can't be fucking upset about that.
No, but even in Edmonton, when they announced the opening lineup,
Sit on their hands.
when they brought them all on the ice and introduced them one by one, everybody fucking sat on their fucking hands.
That is a perfect score for Rick.
Came out to get me
Fucking
too.
hate you.
Yes.
No. This is not.
Thank you.
Well done, Rick.
No.
Thank you.
I've got 1 of 6.
1 of 6.
No.
Rick is dialed in 6 of 6. Liam, how'd you do over there?
4.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Nice work.
4 or 6.
Wow.
You rascal.
I know. Fuck. No. I was trying. to-
Kennedy woke up and chose violence, and unfortunately, so did Rick.
I was like, 2 can play this game.
All right. You want to stick around for Hot and Cold Performers?
Sure. I'll sit.
Excellent.
I'm here.
We got Hot and Cold Performers coming up. I got to tell you about Cornerstone Insurance for 90 years, 4 generations. Cornerstone Insurance has been Edmonton's premier boutique insurer right here in the city. If you go to cornerstoneins.ca, you can get a quote right online. It takes a couple of seconds. Also, citizens of the nation, there's a button for you to click and get a little discount. You need insurance anyway. You might as well do it through Cornerstone Insurance. That is cornerstoneins.ca, cornerstoneins.ca. Ric Flair is in.
Ric Flair is in.
He is here. He loves insurance. As we do every week, we start off with our veggies. Start off with our cold performers of the week. I'm going to start because I'm selfish. My cold performer of the week for Cornerstone Insurance is just Dylan Holloway's luck.
Yeah.
Saturday against the Kraken, we were all down there for the nation vacation. Arguably his best game of, it was his best game of the season. Arguably his best game as an Oiler, and to see him go out long term with an injury the very next night, that's just bad luck. So Dylan Holloway's bad luck is my cold performer of the week. Nation Dan, you're right in front of me. You're up next. Your Cornerstone cold performer of the week.
I'm just going to give it out to the sprinkler head mount thing that popped up and took out the bottom of Carlos Sainz's car, started a whole bunch of issues that are absolutely going to continue. And I think that this might be a cold performer of the week for next week as well.
Did you see he got a 10 place grid penalty?
Brilliant.
And it cost Ferrari millions
Brilliant.
to fix it.
Brilliant. And it took multiple hours of Clark County officials to go through the entire track to make sure that it's not going to happen again.
Oh my
and they missed practices this morning because of it. So yeah, F1, you get my cold performer of the week.
Oh, that's cold.
Earned, not given.
Yep.
Rick, you're up next. Your cold performer of the week for our friends at Cornerstone.
Well, right now we have something going on in Europe right now, right? It's a bit of not an introductory, but it's showcasing the NHL to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So they want to showcase the NHL. They want to showcase hockey. However, if you live up here in Canada, in the jail,
FU,
TSN has decided to bid only Ontario because of the regional market, blah, blah, bullshit. And they have just said, you know what? The rest of Canada can go fuck themselves. So TSN is strictly on you for not showing the game to everybody.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Liam, you're up next for Cornerstone Insurance. Your cold performer of the week.
My cold performer of the week. Usually I like to have a little bit of fun with this segment, but we had a bit of a scare in the Horben household this past week with King Charles, my dog. He has a pinched nerve in his back, and it didn't look good the other day, but now he's It's coming along pretty well. It's the first time he's ever been hurt. So he's pretty worried about life at the moment, but he's good. So my core performer is pinched nerves.
What the hell is going on?
It's how it feels when something goes on with your dog too. It's just like, what is going on? What is happening?
You're like, tell me what's wrong. I want to know.
Just learn English for 3 seconds. We can figure this out.
Just tell me.
Kennedy, you're up next. Your cornerstone cold performer of the week.
My cornerstone cold performer of the week is how this time of year with how dark it gets at 5 o'clock, 4:30. It sucks. I hate it. I was leaving HQ yesterday and I was driving in the dark and I got home and I was like, well, it's midnight already. And it was 5:30. I hate it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Yeah. I was going to go again, but I forgot I was selfish and I went first. Good for me. Thank you, me. Shout out to me. Pat myself on the back. There you go, pal. You did a good job. Thanks. Are you talking to yourself again? Uh-huh. Is this thing on? Nope. Reversing the order. Kennedy, you're on the spot first. Your cornerstone hot performer of the week.
My hot performer of the week is the Jonas Brothers for making my childhood dreams come true. I was in spitting distance with Nick Jonas and Kevin Jonas and all of them, and they won the Oilers game.
Which one's the shittiest of the 3 Jonas?
Kevin.
The bonus Jonas? There's a fourth one.
There's a 4th Jonas brother.
Yeah.
Is that the guy who sat in the seats with them?
No, he wasn't. He's a TikTok star.
Ryan Reynolds lookalike.
I thought that was Jackson Mahomes.
Sure.
Travis Kelce.
Soon. He's next.
The bonus Jonas brother?
Him and Taylor, they're going to come up next.
Kelsey's got that singer girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Does she have songs?
I don't know. I've never heard of her.
The big guy is smoking hot.
I think her name was Hannah Montana.
Oh, I love Miley Cyrus. All right, now it's cooking. Good for Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Dating a Cyrus. That's very exciting. Liam, you're up next.
Uncultured.
Your cornerstone.
Uncultured swan.
Hot performer of the week.
My hot performer of the week. I did it on the other show, but I'll do it on this one. It is McMullet for taking me to the game on Wednesday and allowing me to throw my first hat.
Liam bragging about having friends on the hot and cold performers.
Yep.
He's a hot guy.
Is that the 4th one?
I believe that is the 4th Joe Burrow.
No, that was just a random fan they took a photo with.
There's no way.
That's not a real
I thought they were triplets.
No.
No?
Yeah, aren't they?
Kevin's the oldest. Kevin's the oldest. Joe's the middle. And then Nick is the youngest.
By
and then
seconds.
I beg to differ. That guy looks pretty young to me.
And then Frankie's the youngest.
There's 2 youngest because the 4th one doesn't really count.
4th one doesn't really count.
Rick, you're up next. Your cornerstone insurance hot performer of the week.
I don't know how it lasted this long, but everybody should be giving a thank you to this. It's the return of plastic straws and plastic bags.
Let's
Thank
go.
the world. Jesus Murphy, that's been ridiculous.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
They're back.
Really?
Yeah, they shot down whoever decided it yesterday. So we're coming back with plastic straws and plastic bags. Let's go.
Are we still paying for paper bags at McDonald's though in Edmonton only?
No, well, I don't know about that, but I'll be taking a plastic bag. You want to put my Big Mac in my Safeway bag, please? My plastic Safeway that was never once used, only one time bag.
I'm going to do the thing like I did when I was a little kid. I'm going to go get 15 plastic straws. They all go in the drink and I'm using all of them.
Yeah.
All right, plastic straws, I'm in.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Well,
Feeling hot, hot.
Technically a hot performer.
Yeah.
So technically.
Nation Dan, you're up next. You're a cornerstone insurance hot performer of the week.
Well, it's going to go out to Evander Kane for his hat trick last night. Much needed for us, or last night, sorry, 2 nights ago. Much needed injection of a win to this team. And it's also going to go out to my favorite band, AJR, for releasing their new album, The Maybe Man. Give it a listen.
It's getting hot in here.
Shout out to Nelly.
What's he
Shout
up
out to
to?
Nelly. Well, not enough, probably. Not enough. Just to wrap it up for Cornerstone Insurance, my hot performer of the week. I don't know if he can hear me out there, but I hope he can. It goes out to Gavin. He was running the show down in Seattle. And it's always one of those things where when you're doing the trips, Dan's done it before. There's always things that pop up and come around. And I just thought he handled it in stride. He found ways to pivot. He found ways to keep people in the loop. He communicated well. And it's a tough gig. It's a tough job. And I thought for his first ever nation vacation at the helm, I thought Gavin did a great job. And I want to give him a little bit of love. Secondary hot performer of the week to Gavin for driving me home for the airport.
Jones barbecue and foot massage. Jones barbecue and foot massage.
And there you have it. We got to go an extra 20 minutes because Tyler's not here. What do you think of that, Tyler? I can't wait to see the notification hit his phone that there's an hour and 20 minute episode of Oilers Nation Radio. We're going to wrap it up. We want to thank you guys for being here. As we do, we're going to close this out. Score prediction tomorrow against the Lightning. Nation Dan.
I said 3-2 Lightning victory.
Spitz. Rick.
5-2 Oilers.
6-5 Oilers.
Kennedy.
4-3 Oilers.
4-2 Oilers. Let's go. Have a great weekend, everybody.